Welcome to Catholic Views. I'm your host, Renee Kranz. In the studio with me is Emily Leedom. She is the executive director of the Lourdes Center. Emily, you have not been here for like a year.
I know, I've missed you. Well, I get to see you on a regular basis. And then I feel like we coordinated, for anybody that's watching on video,
yes.
We coordinated the brightest colors that we own in our closet.
So it's early January,
Yeah.
almost mid-January. And both of us apparently had the same mindset today of
breaking out of the cold.
Yes, we need some cheering up. And so we both came in literally the brightest things in our closet.
My husband this morning, he looked at me, he was like, wow. I'm wearing bright pink. And I was like, you don't like it? He goes,
Yep.
No, I like it. I like it.
He's trying to backpedal a little bit.
He's like, it just says like, hi, I'm here.
And mine is very bright orange. So we look really good together, though.
I think so, too. We're kind of a good pair today. I love it.
Emily, we wanted you to come in to give us a couple things. So we're going to talk about how things are going at the Lourdes Center. It's been almost a year with the changeover in the name and so on. We're going to talk about Gift of Hope, because that is coming up in about a month, almost exactly a month. But first, we're going to talk just a little bit about something that's actually, depending on when you're listening to this is coming up this weekend. So it is, what is that, January 14th, right? January 14th.
Yeah,
so
Sunday night, right?
Yeah, if you're listening to this Sunday morning, it
15th.
is the 15th. Okay, so it's Sunday, January 15th at 4 p.m. Last Caller Standing is back. And the fun part is that Emily gets to co-host it this year.
I am so excited. In part, backstory, Father Andy Thuringer and I are co-hosting together. And Father Andy and I kind of have a big history together.
You do?
We did theater together in high school. And then one year we taught Toast together, and there was a talent show or whatever. So we made up this whole like oral interp skit about Jonah the whale or something like that, and performed it. So I genuinely enjoy like working with him in that sort of setting.
Yeah.
And so when they reached out and said, hey, would you want to come on and be a co-host with us this year? I was like, is Father Andy doing it? So I'm down. So I'm really, really excited. I think it's such a fun opportunity for people just around the diocese to get connected and to, I don't know, kind of have a rallying point, especially in the middle of January, when you just need to laugh and raise money for a good cause too.
It's a good time. It's a good way to get to know our priests.
Yeah.
Because you see them, if you haven't watched Last Caller Standing, you see them in a completely different way, kind of having fun with their brothers. It's all on Zoom for the most part, except for, of course, you and Father Andy. But it is raising money for Lumen Christi in the diocese. And it's one of their big fundraisers for the year. So there are opportunities. If you go to sfcatholic.org/LCS, which stands for Last Caller Standing, you can find ways to donate, ways to sponsor a priest, to give them a boost in the competition. The last time I saw something on Facebook, Father Cohn.
I think so, because Father Cowles was at the top, and then he got booted, and I think he was down to number 3.
Yeah.
And wasn't Father Doty?
Probably,
was Father Jacob Doty higher on the list as well? Yeah.
So if you follow our Facebook page and Instagram, you can find, kind of keep up with things. So that's at SF Diocese on Facebook and Instagram. But
I know a lot of people are going to have a watch party.
Yes.
Like they're getting together as a group of friends and, are going to hang out and have a watch party and cheer on. And
honestly, I've watched it every year. I don't necessarily always get to watch it live, but I think last year we watched it live. It was so much fun. Just my husband and I were watching it.
Yeah.
And it was so much fun to watch. And if you have a watch party with your friends, I think that's a good way to do it.
All the better.
Yeah.
And I think, too, Lumen Christi, the beneficiary of the event, is just such a beautiful and incredible opportunity for not only the missionaries that are serving, it's an incredibly formative year for the missionaries, but to have these people out and in our diocese and really supporting parish life, especially with our youth. Yeah. It's just leaven, it's just leaven in the diocese. And I think it's a beautiful thing to support.
It is. If you don't know a ton about Lumen Christi, just 2 or 3 weeks ago, we had 2 of the missionaries on Catholic Views. And you could go back either on YouTube or at the website sfcatholic.org and watch that episode. That would give you a really good kind of backgrounder on what they're doing, those two missionaries, one in Aberdeen and one in Sioux Falls, have been doing a lot of good work.
Oh, that's so awesome.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
I'm a little nervous. I'm not going to lie. I feel like I need to bring out my black paint or something and put it under my
that's
eyes.
a good idea.
And I need a bandana.
Well, they do have bandanas, so you can
do you
throw
have
that
any camouflage that I could borrow?
I do not.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I don't have camouflage.
We're in South Dakota. There's got to be somebody
Someone has camouflage.
with some camo somewhere. So I will track it down and I will be in studio ready to go.
She'll blend in with the decor because we do transform the studio as well.
Oh, it's going to be so great. I can't wait.
All right. So let's move on to what's going on with the Lourdes Center. So as I said, it's been almost a year. And a year ago, February 13th?
Yeah.
Or was it like the 13th?
February 11th?
Last year.
February 11th.
You guys made the transition from Catholic Family Services to the Lourdes Center.
Yeah.
And a lot of things have actually happened. So how are things going?
Yeah.
And what are some new things that you guys are doing?
Well, thanks for asking.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so fun, when we're kind of in the trenches every day, to just be prompted to take a step back and to reflect on, wow, what has God done?
Yeah.
And there's that great Lauren Daigle song, like, look what you've done. And I think of that all the time. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I do not know which one you're talking about.
You've done. You know that song? It's so good. It's so good. It's worth a listen. But I really it's kind of been my anthem because I just keep on having these little moments where I'm reflecting on what God has done in the last 2 years since I came on board at then Catholic Family Services and obviously now the Lourdes Center, and just how He's moved this ship. I always use the analogy of He's built this ship, and there's times where I feel like it set sail and I was swimming behind it trying to catch up because it just really took off. This mission really seemed to resonate in the hearts of people within our diocese. So it's been a really, really joyful and hard work, joyful experience and a lot of hard work. We've really been focusing on, number one, kind of building up our home base, which I would call the Sioux Falls office, which is here in the Chancery building. It's just really under the umbrella of the shepherd. It's just under the umbrella of the bishop. And so that's been an emphasis for us, is to really build that home base so that then we could start expanding.
Right.
And in the last year, we've expanded to have presence on the campus of SDSU, state championship. They're state champs.
Ooh, go Jacks.
So to be on the campus at SDSU, which has been awesome. We love college students and want to continue to invest in our college students. We also have a presence now in Watertown where we're traveling there on a regular basis. And then we added an additional counselor in Aberdeen a couple days a week as well. So we're just kind of building out. So that's been a big focus for us is really the clinical work. So maybe for those that don't know, we're primarily a counseling agency, maybe not primarily, but that's a huge pillar of what we do is just one-on-one individual or family marriage counseling, seeing a variety of things. We don't do a lot of maybe some of those bigger diagnoses. We see a lot of the yous and me's of the world, is what I say. So, people that are ready to start unpacking maybe some of their childhood stuff, maybe that are coming up against a transition in life that's causing them some anxiety, some unrest, some fear, all of those types of things. Right. We see a lot of individuals that are just struggling with depression, that just don't feel like themselves, all the way to people who are in, experiencing major traumas in life, whether that's due to grief or loss or, like I said, some of those transitions, marriage difficulties, that kind of stuff. So we really just see a spectrum of people, like I said, in that one-on-one counseling atmosphere. And then we've really worked to expand our programming efforts. Right. So, not everybody needs one-on-one counseling, or maybe that's not where they're at yet, or they've done that. They want to take a step back from one-on-one but still want to continue to do some work, some inner healing work. So we've been expanding our programming. We've, started a 6-week healing series. Right. That's just been super.
Is that the God Who Knocks?
A God Who Knocks. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I'm just trying to come up with the right words for it. It's kind of rocked us in a beautiful way. Just seeing what God is doing in people's lives and giving them the opportunity to kind of in the sacred space, the safe space, to unpack some of these things. So that's been really beautiful. And then we've expanded our grief programming as well. That's been a real legacy of Catholic Family Services under the leadership of Dr. Marcy Moran, that we've just been honored to continue to uphold.
Things
so
like Camp Sydney.
Camp Sydney. We're doing a grief Bible study called Seasons of Hope, which starts in January, or starts, in about a week. We launched an 8-week healing grief series called Held, which is kind of an evening program. We have like 40 people that go through that every semester, every spring and fall, because grief doesn't wait.
Right.
And so we've really tried to have something on a regular basis for people that are grieving. And we've really kind of become a hub, I think, of ministry to grieving hearts, which has been beautiful. Right. So we're just expanding some of those programming, opportunities right now. We have a phenomenal team that's so on board and that has really taken up the legacy of what Catholic Family Services was and is continuing to just steward that legacy into the future to, respond to such a time as this and the need of our day.
Yeah, we need it for sure.
Yeah, it's been beautiful.
What are some of the things that you're hoping to do in the future?
That's a good question.
I'm pretty sure you have some things in mind. But can you tell us about any of those that you're hoping to do?
Yeah. So a couple of things that are just kind of in my heart. Obviously, the continued expansion to different places across the diocese. I want to be at. I don't know if Father John is listening. I want to be at USD or, I want to be on our college campuses. Yeah. That's a real heart that I have, that the Lourdes Center has. It's such a critical time. Yeah. I would also say a better partnership with our Catholic schools, which has been kind of underway, but continues to just grow and develop. So being that real partner hand in hand with our Catholic schools so that they have a solid Catholic referral source that is really integrating a Catholic vision of the human person with what we know about the psychological sciences and all of those kinds of things. I've said this before, and it's just not been the right time. So I'm trying to be patient and wait on the Lord in it while we continue to, expand our capacity. But there's such a need for couples. In a variety of ways, actually, but couples experiencing infertility, couples experiencing miscarriage, and then also just marriage support. Right. So couples that are just struggling. My heart, my ministry background, kind of the call in some ways that I feel like God has put on my life is to build up marriages. And so we're starting to see more and more couples for marriage counseling. That are struggling with a variety of things. But it's just really on the heart, I think, of the Lourdes Center to step into that place. Right. Because the church has such richness to offer what the sacrament of marriage is. Right. How to love your spouse well. I mean, there's just the richness of the tradition around marriage. And it is our biggest vocation. Yeah. So we need to support it wherever we can. Yeah. And if you want to change the world, change families. Yes. If you want to build up the world, build up marriages. So, I would say that's kind of the primary thing that's in my heart in what I want to do in the future, whether that's through some programming things. A couple years ago, you might remember we did a couples conference called Reckless. And I just thought it was great. It was just great. At least I thought it was great. Maybe I'm biased, but, I helped plan it. But I don't know, stuff like that, I think for couples, just I continue to hear graces that came from that in marriages. So giving couples the space to dive in together, to talk about things, to probe one another's hearts. It's just, you just can't go wrong. There's such grace in that. So absolutely. I don't know what it'll look like yet, but in the next year or two, that's really a huge desire for the Lourdes Center is to step into that space. I think that's a great spot for you guys. There is another question I want to ask you, but I think I'm going to wait. I want to make sure we get plenty of time in for Gift of Hope. Okay. So we'll see if we have time at the end for this other one. So if you just joined us, we're talking to Emily Leedom. She is the executive director of the Lourdes Center, getting some updates on them. And we want to talk about the Gift of Hope. So this is an annual event that is it the biggest fundraiser? Of the Lourdes Center? Center? Okay. Yeah, it is. So it's done every year. The South Dakota, I'm not going to say it right. The Catholic Community Foundation. I can never for Eastern South Dakota. Right. Catholic Community Foundation. You took me a minute, but I'm with you. For Eastern South Dakota. Yep.
puts on this event for the Lourdes Center called Gift of Hope. If you've never been to it, it's usually a concert of some sort.
Yeah,
There's been a couple iterations of it, but it is a concert this year, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can you tell us what's happening this year?
Yeah, I'm really excited. So Ben Fuller is our artist this year. He's our performer. He actually ended up last year being the opening act for. Oh my gosh, I'm blanking on the name.
And I can't remember.
It'll come to us in a second. But he ended up being the opening act last year, and I just remember like listening to him do a sound check and looking around like, what in the heck? Like, where did this guy come from? Who the heck is this?
Yep.
He just really knocked the socks off of everybody that was there. In part just because of his sheer talent. Like he's an unbelievable singer. He's just got kind of a, I don't know, like, do you listen to country music? Do you hate country music?
I used to listen to it years ago, but I don't listen to it anymore.
So like Chris Stapleton, I don't know if that name is familiar to you. I told him he's like a Christian Chris Stapleton last year because he just got that like soulful, powerful voice. But that mixed with just his authenticity and his witness, it just was a really powerful experience for me of just encountering the love of God in a deeper way. And I just loved him. I absolutely loved him. I follow him on Instagram now, and he's my favorite person to follow.
And if you want any
have a lot of fun with
taste of what he is, I actually went to the ccfesd.org website.
Yeah, I think
they have
videos.
a couple of videos, and I played a couple of them because I was trying to figure out if I thought my husband might enjoy it. But beautiful voice.
Yes, and he's like all over Life 96.5. I think he
is
hit.
He?
Yeah, he's really in the last year. I kind of feel like we were on the inside. I'm not gonna lie.
You guys gave him his boost.
I mean, I don't want to take too much credit, but I feel like he knew us when we were still little people, or when he was still little. No, but really in the last year, it's been phenomenal. Like he's just blown up and is everywhere, and is traveling all over the country and became kind of an opening act and is now a real a staple in the Christian music industry. And again, I think it's in part just his authenticity. Like he stood out and hugged every single person that waited in line to talk with him after the concert last year. And there's just a way about him. I think he's disarming because of his own story that people are ready to share with him their journey, their story. And it's just powerful. So I'm really looking forward. He's got a great sense of humor and a laugh that just makes you laugh.
So does he just sing songs? Does he tell his story during the show?
Yeah, he incorporates a lot of his own story related to kind of sobriety and family upbringing and that kind of thing. And the way that God just kind of pulled him out and asked him to use his voice to sing for him. And he said, okay. So there's this beautiful integration throughout the evening. Some people are kind of like, okay, is it like a stand up and like wave my hands in the
arms
air
around or what are we doing here?
If you want to, but that's not, I wouldn't say that that's like the vibe.
Right.
That's sort of millennial word. I'm so embarrassed. But I wouldn't really say it's that. It's kind of wherever you're at. Like I think you'll find. I think you'll feel at home. Like again, he has this way.
And listen, you'll be okay.
Yeah,
Good.
he has this disarming way, and you will be entertained, and you will be moved.
Good.
You will be moved. And if the whole goal, my whole desire, obviously this is a fundraiser, but in my first 2 years in conversation with the Catholic Community Foundation, I just said, if people are not encountering the Lord at this fundraiser, then I don't want to do it.
Right.
Who needs it?
Yeah, exactly.
We do. But there's just that primacy of encounter.
Absolutely.
So,
So that is February 11th.
Yeah. Can I tell you something crazy about that?
Yes.
So did not realize this. Went through, so basically we proposed, several dates depending upon artist and location and venue, all of that. Finally settled on February 11th. Great, sounds good. Went through the whole first meeting. At the end of the first meeting, it might have even been the second meeting, I was like, wait a second. February 11th. That sounds familiar. It's the Feast of Our Lady of Lourdes.
Of course.
It's the Feast of Our Lady of Lourdes. You can't make that up.
She's always looking out for you.
I know. She's so good. She's so good to us. And just the way that it came together, we were a little delayed in kind of being able to find the right artist and a venue that would work at the same time. And the way that everything came together was really quite extraordinary.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, she had her hands all over that. Yeah.
So where do they buy tickets? What time is the performance? Can you give us all that?
Yeah. So you can go to the Catholic Community Foundation for Eastern South Dakota website, which is
CCFESD.
That's right, which is Catholic Community Foundation, Eastern South Dakota. And then events, and you'll see it. It's the top one listed there, Gift of Hope. And a major percentage of what we bring in from Gift of Hope this year is going really directly to building our programming, directly to kind of expanding our outreach and locations and that kind of thing. And then a small percentage of the funds will also go to the Gift of Hope Endowment, which is for the long-term sustainability of the Lourdes Center.
Right.
So we're really in a building phase right now. So more of the funds are kind of coming to that building. Right. The building of our operations and all of that. And people can buy tickets. I think they're $35, something like that.
I think that's right.
So a really affordable concert ticket.
Yeah.
And then you can also donate at a sponsorship level. And that goes a huge, long way to support the Lourdes Center.
That doesn't start out at it's like $60.
No, it's doable. Yeah, it's really doable.
Absolutely doable.
Yeah.
February 11th, is that a Saturday?
It's a Saturday night. That's right.
Okay.
Yep, that's right.
Good to know. Is there anything else?
I really want to encourage people to come. It's going to be so good.
And they should go to the Lourdes Center website too, because it's new. Why don't we just real quick mention that, please?
Yeah, the LourdesCenter.com. And Lourdes, like Lourdes, France.
Right. Lourdes.
That's right, Lourdes, France. So the LourdesCenter.com, we have a fully launched new website that explains a little bit more about who we are, what we do, what we offer, our services, that kind of thing. So check it out. We'd love your feedback.
Great. It looks like you guys.
Yeah, I think so too. And just fresh and kind of ready for the world.
Yeah. And so if you need something from the Lourdes Center, you can always go there. You can always call if you need to call the chancery or anything like that. We'll get you hooked up with them.
Absolutely.
They're just downstairs.
Yep, absolutely.
So
absolutely.
Thank you, Emily, for coming in. I appreciate it. We gotta not have you away for so long.
Deal.
A year is really way too long.
I'll be back tomorrow. I'm just kidding.
All right. Well, thanks for being here. All right, if you haven't found us already on social media, you can find us at Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and now at Rumble at SF Diocese anytime. You can also go to the diocesan website at sfcatholic.org. That's it for us today. Hope you'll join us again next week for more Catholic Views.